My parents called it Truth Hour, but in reality, it was psychological warfare disguised as a family tradition. Every Sunday at exactly 6 o'clock p.m., we had to sit in the living room and confess our sins from the week. My parents claimed it was to keep us honest. But really, it was just an interrogation tactic to catch us slipping up so they could punish us. It was brutal. My older sister, Natalie, would crumble every time. She'd confess to eating extra dessert or staying up 10 minutes past bedtime, and my parents would twist it into a moral failing. The breaking point happened when I was 12. Natalie confessed she got a B on a math test, not an F, a B. My parents spent an hour screaming at her, asking why she was throwing her future away. She ended up grounded for 2 weeks, sobbing in her room. That night, I looked at her crying and realized, this isn't about truth. This is about control. And the only way to stop it was to use their own rules against them. I spent the next week quietly observing. I became a ghost in my own house. I wrote down everything. The next Sunday, 6 o'clock p.m. rolled around. The air was thick. We sat in the usual circle. My dad looked at me with that smug expectation. Well, who wants to go first? I didn't say a word. I just reached into my backpack and pulled out a thick, black notebook. I slammed it onto the coffee table. The sound made my mom flinch. I'll go first, I said, my voice shaking just a little. I've been keeping track of everyone's confessions since January, and I noticed some inconsistencies. My dad laughed nervously. What are you talking about? I opened the notebook to a bookmark page. Exhibit A. I read aloud. 3 months ago, Dad confessed to having a beer after work. But last month, when Mom accused you of coming home late, you swore you never drink on weekdays. My dad's smile vanished. He froze. I turned the page. And Mom, 2 weeks ago, you said you were working late on Thursday. But in your confession the following Sunday, you mentioned you were having dinner with Aunt Paula on that same Thursday. My mom's eyes went wide. She started doing that thing she does when she's panicking, straightening magazines on the table. I'm not done, I said, pulling out a color-coded graph I had made in math class. I analyzed the data. In the past year, Natalie and I have received 43 punishments based on our confessions. You guys, 0. I pointed to the red line on the chart. When Dad confessed to denting that car in the grocery store parking lot and driving away, he called it a moment of weakness. No punishment. The silence in the room was deafening. You could hear the ceiling fan clicking. That's enough, my dad snapped, his face turning purple. He reached for the notebook, but I was ready. I pulled a stack of papers from my back pocket. Don't bother, I said calmly. These are photocopies. I scanned them at the library. And I've already emailed digital backups to a secure account that sends them to Grandma if I don't log in every week. That was a lie, but they didn't know that. I also started audio recording our truth hours 2 months ago, I added, tapping my phone. Does anyone want to hear the playback of Mom calling Dad useless last November? My dad stood up so fast his chair fell backward. This ends now, I agree. I smiled. That is actually my confession for the week. I confess that I want Truth Hour to end. Unless we want to start implementing punishments for the parents too. My mom looked at my dad. My dad looked at the floor. Truth Hour was canceled that night. Mom said it was because we were mature enough to stop. 6 months later, I walked past their bedroom and heard them arguing. My dad said, maybe we should bring back Truth Hour. I walked into the doorway, patted my back pocket where I kept the notebook, and just smiled. They went silent immediately. The best part? Natalie asked me yesterday if I still had the backups. I showed her the notebook. It was completely blank except for the first 3 pages.